Good morning. This is Robert Goodman from Positive Strokes, Staying Clean on YouTube. Also, I have a group, Living Our Best Lives on Facebook, and a page, Living in Recovery, also on Facebook. I hope you check this out. Today I want to share something with you. There was this man, and he was a king, the most powerfulest man, had everything he wanted, everything. But he was looking down in the courtyard, and he seen this woman bathing. She was beautiful, but she was somebody else's wife. She was the wife of one of his trusted commanders in the army. And at that particular time, they was at war. And being the king, you can have anything you want, because you have the power to get anything you want. But was it the right thing to do? All he was concerned was about his emotions and feelings about her, about how she looked and how beautiful she was, and how he wanted her for himself. Not thinking about the man that was honored and respecting him to go in battle, to give up his life if necessary to accomplish his goal. Now, I want you to think about that for a minute. That wasn't right, was it? If you look in the Bible, I'm talking about King David and Bathsheba. I share you that short part of the story is because his desire overpowered right from wrong. Ask yourself this: the decision that you make, does it overpower right from wrong? I remember when I was at my parole office, this was years ago, and she said, "Robert, do not come back in here testing dirty." I said, "I'm not hurting nobody. I'm doing me. I'm buying my own stuff, and I want to get high, and I'm going to continue to get high. I don't care what you say." And she told me, she said, "Well, you come in here," and she said, "I'm going to send you back, and I'm going to send you back every single time." I said, "Well, catch me when you can." Did that make a bit of sense? No, it didn't. But at the time, I thought I was flexing. I thought I was showing my mustard, and I was all that in a bag of chips. But actually, I was showing how foolish and stupid I really was. Let's get back to King David. So, King David, he didn't have relations with her. Found out she was pregnant. Oh man, we can't. So there's two things I got to do. I got to either get him to come and have sex with his wife so to make it look like it's his baby, or I'm going to have to kill this man. So he brings the man back, tell him to spend time with his wife. But since he is an honorable man, since he's a man that stands for principles, he felt it wasn't right that he should be laying with his wife when his men are out there fighting for the king. He wanted to be out there with his men. So he chose not to sleep with them. So when David's plan didn't work, then what did he do? He sent his platoon in the front of the fighting and told everybody else to draw back so he can be killed. Did he get away with it? He got away with it with people knowing, not knowing, but he didn't get away with it from God. Which triggered us events to cause him to lose the child that he loved. I want you to take that situation and I want you to think about it. David was justifying his wrong by doing what he was doing, so nobody wouldn't know his secrets. He thought he was going to get away with it. But when he realized he couldn't get away with it, he accepted his punishment. See, that's why David was a man to his own heart, because he accepted his wrong. He knew what part he played in it. He knew the results of what happened, what God was going to do, because God let him know. So let's turn that back to living in today's life. When we make bad decisions, then there's consequences. You can sugarcoat it, you can change it around, you can have a billion excuses, but it doesn't change the fact of your actions. And here's the interesting thing. Your actions express who you really are, not what comes out of your mouth. You can go on social media and a person can tell you they're worth $1 billion, or you're going to get a $100,000 check. You know, all you have to do is this. Words don't mean nothing. Actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. I'm sharing this point to make you look at yourself and your actions and see where your actions are leading you. It's up to you to look at yourself right. See, when God let David know you're going to be punished, he accepted his fate. He knew what was going to happen. He accepted it. He repented from his mistake and he moved on and did the next right thing. Do we make a mistake and then move on and do the next right thing or correct the situation? It's a question you ask yourself. Another interesting thing I would like to share is that in recovery, people will help you if you help yourself. The interesting thing is when I was out there in my active addiction, when I was doing the most, doing all this crazy stuff. If I tell you half of the stuff I did, you wouldn't want to know me. And a lot of you would fear me. But the point I'm trying to make is that when I was doing these bad things, the good people started to stay away from me until they was non-existent. People that lived with principles, that respected one another, that worked hard to make a good life for themselves, they stayed away from me. But all the bad and conniving and manipulative people came around me and embraced me into this crazy world that they lived. But the good people, there was nowhere to be found. What happened to the good people? They got tired of my bull. They got tired of seeing me destroy myself. They got tired of giving and seeing nothing flourishing or growing in my recovery. So when there was no one around to cry on the shoulder, no one around to help me, and I was all left to my own devices, it didn't take me long to get tired of the lifestyle and what I was living. So I had to get up out the rabbit hole by myself. But you know the interesting thing? When I got up out that rabbit hole by myself, different type of people started associating with me. Positive people. People that had compassion about my situation, was willing to help and walk with me. Why? Because Robert was doing the work. I didn't put the blame on nobody else. I didn't say, well, the reason why I'm like this is because my mama treated me like this. The reason why I'm like this is because we didn't have this. The reason why I'm like this is because I got molested. The reason why is this because I was homeless. All situations that had bad situations that happened to me is a part of history. But it's up to me to work on Robert to make my present better than my past. Do I make my present better than my past? Today I do. And my life's getting better each and every day. My life is getting way better because I realized that in order for me to get up the rabbit hole, I had to work on self. I had to hold myself accountable for my own actions and not give excuses, constant excuses, to justify bad behavior. So my life got better. You know, there's a man that I just want to touch on this point, and I'm going to bring it home. His name is Ray. If you listen to this man's story, it would blow your mind. But the interesting thing about him is that once he received recovery, he ran with it. He's out there helping people. He has compassion and love for those who are suffering The man goes into jail systems to talk to men, to make sure that they can have some type of hope when they get out, that they could change their direction to make their lives better. He is spending his life helping others because he doesn't want nobody to suffer the way he did. And he's not the only one. There are so many other people out there that have suffered so bad and got it together that they want to help others. But they're not going to waste their time on people that don't want to help themselves because they know that they cannot help a person until they help themselves. A person can't grow until they learn. A person can't become a rose unless they get the right nutrients, information, guidance, direction, focusing on self. When you make a mistake, you honor the mistake, you clean up the mistake, and you move on to the next page. You do the next right thing. Because nobody's perfect in this world. So we're all going to make mistakes. The mistake is never important. It's what we do after the mistake is important. What we do after the mistake is important. What we do after the mistake tells who we are. Tells if we care or not when we make a mistake. If we act like we didn't make no mistake or we try to hide the mistake, it tells who we are, that we don't care. We're going to do what we want, when we want, and how we want, and this is the way it is. You know, like Frank Sinatra said, I lived it my way. Those who live it like that, my way, regardless of all the bad that they do, end up by themselves. And with only people that are the same way they are. No feelings, no remorse, just do what they want. But you know, when I was out there in my act of addiction, people were happy. See, in my act of addiction, it wasn't about money. Because I had I had enough money and dope to kill myself 100 times over. So it wasn't about that, but I was not happy. When you realize that you got to give some dope to somebody so they can kick it with you and spend time with you, when you're giving people and you see that they're really not concerned about you, only what you have, you're not happy. These are your only friends that you have, you're not happy. When you see people that you love and you care, and they start to elevate themselves by living their best lives, they're growing and they're maturing and they're having things, and you're not having nothing, you're so stuck in the mud. You feel little. But the interesting thing is you don't have to stay there. You choose to stay there because you want to do it your way. Robert's way wasn't working. Once I realized that, then the change started. The change of recovery started when I realized my way was not working, that I had nothing to show to have inner peace. I tell you about King David for the simple fact that is, he made a grave error in judgment. He disrespected someone that respected and honored him. But when a power greater than him stepped in, and called him on it and took away what was precious, he realized that he controlled all the events led up to that. Recovery is a beautiful thing. Recovery is one of the greatest gifts that you can have of living a good life. I have peace of mind today. I sleep well. I have military friends that I love. Yeah, I got military friends. I'm connected with people because I was there. I got kicked out, but I was there. So there's a lot that we have involved. I have police officers that live around me that we talk like normal, regular people. They're my associates, my neighbors. I've been in their house. None of this I would have if I didn't take work on self. If Robert did not work on self, I would have nothing that I have today. If I did not work on self, I would have nothing I have today. If I didn't work on self, I wouldn't have clarity about myself. If I didn't work on self, I couldn't see the pitfalls of others, so I don't fall down the rabbit hole with them. Because, see, I'm not going down the rabbit hole. No more. I've experienced enough pain in addiction and living the street life that I don't want to see that no more. I want to thank you all for taking the time out to view my short videos. I want to thank you for looking at on Facebook, being a part of living in recovery and living our best lives, and also on my main page. I appreciate all that you post. I appreciate your recovery because it's a part of my recovery. Remember, you can be the best you can be if you do the work for yourself. It's not about nobody else, it's about you. When you go to sleep, you sleep. I want you to sleep with peace. I want you to wake up with a smile on your face to another day, clean and sober, living your best life. That's all I want from each and every person that I come in contact with. I want you to have a good life. I realize that a good life is not being rich. A good life is have inner peace and happiness. A good life is having a soulmate that you can walk with for the rest of your life, that you and that person choose to live until you can't live no more and it's time for you to go on the ground. That's the greatest gift that God or a power greater than yourself can give you. Someone that's willing to be with you 24/7, 365 days a year. Don't take that for granted because nobody's obligated to be there. They choose to be there. Remember that. You are not that special that you can control somebody to be with you. A person chooses to be with you. So respect them and respect yourself by honoring them, by giving them the love and attention that they give you. You know, in the beginning of my videos, at the end of my videos, I used to say, Dope made me a dope, but now I got hope because I'm not a dope anymore, because I'm clean and I'm sober. You have a great and wonderful day.